Welcome to your first look. It is round 3, Lucas Oil Pro Motocross, sanctioned by AMA Pro Racing. I am Jason Weigandt. Don't worry, we did not fire Tom Journet last week. Did a great job, and he will be back on the show with his takes in a moment. But first, we just got to talk about, hey, it's a real challenge here. We've had 2 rounds in California, which means that everyone in this series had their opportunity to say, I'm learning. The California tracks aren't my bag. It's a long season. Well, as you get to round 3 and you're out of California, the excuses start to go away. So we're going to analyze that here in our first look, all brought to you, of course, by 6D Helmets, committed to the relentless pursuit of better brain protection. 6D's patented Omni-Directional Suspension technology provides protection capabilities unmatched by any other helmet design. Established in 2011, 6D is the technology leader in both motorcycle and bicycle helmet design. So when you come here to Colorado, we know that people get all pumped on Eli Tomac, but we're going to find out today if it is truly his home race or if another rider might even be more at home than Eli. More on that in a little bit. And let's talk 250 division. Somehow the Lawrence brothers have really won every moto except one, and Jet was sick last week. So kind of like I said, if anyone's going to stake their claim, you can use 2 rounds. Maybe give yourself a little mulligan. It's going to be key this weekend for someone to prove they can beat him. I will say this. I went by the Monster Energy Star Yamaha team last week, and they said Justin Cooper has to beat Jet in one of the motos. Now, Cooper was out of the top 10 in both motos at Fox Racing. I thought they must have been in altitude. The air must have been thin to say that Justin Cooper is going to beat Jet in one of the motos last week, and he did. So you never know what's going to happen in this sport. We'll keep that in mind. All right, we're going to give you a little bit of the atmosphere from last week. Jason Anderson rolling in finally with an overall. Maybe one of the most misleading stats in the history of this sport. We all know he's been good outdoors. He's had, I think, 5 moto wins, tons of podiums. Had just never won an overall. He finally checked that box, and he was pumped. And you figure these vibes are going to carry right over here to what might be his home race.
Did I win? Yeah! Yes! That's the overall, baby! Yeah! Dude! 13 years. 13 mother years. That's right, baby. About time. About time. Damn. That was good. It was a good surprise because honestly I thought I got second. You went in the line, you was trying to give me the best. I got it, Eddie. No, but Rango told me I did it, and then I was like, did what? Like, so then I went to the guy, and I was like, did I win? And he's like, yeah, and I was like, yeah.
Okay, so the Jason Anderson momentum is rolling in, and Eli Tomac got a moto win. It was classic Eli Tomac in that second moto, so a real showdown building between the 22-year-old Chase Sexton and the establishment of the 2 29-year-olds Tomac and Anderson, who've been racing each other forever, and specifically in this area. So we're going to introduce a new segment of the show. Let's bring him out literally from behind the camera because that's where he normally does his best work. But he's coming on strong. Tommy Tenders of Team Fried is here, and he's been doing his research. This is method acting, method journalism. You actually visited the Team Fried compound with Jason Anderson, and it's not any further than Eli Tomac's compound.
It's actually closer.
Whoa!
It's actually closer, yep. So did a little bit of research this morning, actually, while being at the track. I looked up 2 locations of how far they were from the track. One being Cortez, Colorado, and the other one was Albuquerque, New Mexico. Albuquerque, I did it last night. I drove it. Is 6 hours away from here. Cortez is 6.5 with the mountains and everything. It's actually closer, but since with the mountain range and the roads and stuff, makes it a lot farther. So I don't know. For me, Eli on the card, it says he's from Colorado.
Yes.
It's his state.
Yes.
But New Mexico, I mean, it's its own different state, but it's close. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's probably going to be just as much family members on the Anderson side as the Tomac side tomorrow.
Now look, you're wearing a Team Fried hat, so you got to be careful here. They're going to say that you're biased. However, you got to see his track, and that place is gnarly. It's one of some clips you showed. That was one of the first glimpses I've gotten to this at altitude, by the way, track that Jason has now.
Yes. Okay, hold on. We gotta.
Oh, another shootout.
We need to hold on. The altitude thing. Altitude. This is another research I did. That is in plane terms or whatever. So when you're climbing in altitude, that's different than what we're at, which is elevation. Okay. So it's elevation training, not altitude training.
Okay, so we're going to compare the elevation of the Anderson compound and the Tomac compound? Elevation.
Yes, so I don't know the numbers exactly with the fried compound, but it's a little above Albuquerque. And Albuquerque, don't quote me, I'm almost pretty sure it's about 60, 80 feet higher than Denver. So it's pretty much the same as this.
Yeah.
Cortez is at like 6,100. Here they're at like 5,200 or something like that. So it's a little higher. So I think Jason, I think he's got him beat on the elevation side.
Yeah, you're talking like 100 feet. The bottom line is they're both training at more than a mile high and similar to this. So we could take that old Anderson struggles in the elevation thing or altitude. We can take that out of the equation. He's good now.
Yeah, no, I think he's good. I mean, he personally said that he does feel a difference from it, and you can tell nowadays. I mean, it really helps in these long, tough motos. And speaking of tough motos, I think this weekend is going to be the first true test on who's going to be able to dig deep. We've got a high of 95, 97 tomorrow, so these guys had it easy these first two races with like a high of 80 or something, but tomorrow it's going to be gnarly.
Does that affect the video shooters who are running on the side of the track with the elevation and the temperature as well? Will you be fried by the time this is over?
Oh, 100%. But I did my elevation training this week. We went to Albuquerque. We're ready. We're not just off the plane, having the oxygen tank strapped up. We're dialed.
One other rider you want to mention. So I talked about the Lawrence brothers, who can beat them, and Justin Cooper did it along with Michael Mosiman last week. You mentioned Justin Cooper. He's been very good at this track in the past.
He is really good here.
Yeah.
He's really, really good here. And I think he's going to be really good again this weekend. For him, I think that first round, it was really a test to see where he was at. I think he was probably bummed on his result. But the following weekend, he backed it up. So I think right now it's going to be kind of getting the wheels rolling, and hopefully he can come out on top this weekend.
Justin Cooper, I'm gonna just plant this seed real early. I feel he's being disrespected. He is going to be pointing out of 250 Supercross. I do not hear anyone saying, where's he going to ride a 450? Give this guy a 450. This guy has been really good his entire career since the moment he turned pro. I don't know what more he can do to prove he is an elite level rider, and I feel like he doesn't get thought of in that vernacular. And I was wrong last week, and the team said, we're going to make bike changes and make up 13 positions. They did. Don't count him out. He's good here.
Yeah, no, he's good here, and those star bikes are good here. Yes. I mean, we can see the start right there. It's an uphill start. We're at elevation. Those bikes are going to be barking. I hate to say it. The Hondas are going really good, everybody else, but those star bikes, they're good here. So, should be interesting.
Yeah, that's what we want. We want to mix it up a little bit in the 250s, and the 450s are already bringing it. You don't know. Every week we're on that Dungey Caroli watch to see if they can keep getting better, maybe get a little bit closer. Ken Roxon won this race last year, so he's good here as well. A lot to look forward to. Heck, even Amateur Day entertained us. We had dudes doing freestyle back here.
Some dude was doing, I don't even know, the back table over there. I looked over, he's doing a heart attack. I'm almost pretty sure, I think it's Scotty Scrub Miller. He's a local from out here. 210. I'm almost pretty sure that was him. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. But also, the track's changed a little bit.
Yes. An interesting spot. What we're getting direction. Is it happening? Oh, is it happening? We're gonna get Scotty Scrub Miller.
Yeah,
on the Cowie.
He'll be back in about 20 seconds or so. So we'll spot him out. But
Talk about the track changes.
We've got the new booter, which is not necessarily a booter anymore. It looks like a roller into a wall section thing. I don't really know.
There, he just threw it flat. Good job, he just threw it flat. Yeah, this turned from a big booter triple into like almost a rhythm lane of 5 jumps. But the bigger change is what we used to call the end zone, where Stewart and Tomac had huge crashes back in the day. They've changed it.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be it's a really big change actually. There's it looks a lot less high speed. Hold on, I think our guy is coming around.
Black jersey on a Cowie.
Oh, he went.
We keep missing it. All right.
He went by, but yeah, it's a super new, a really big change, honestly. Right after the Thunder Valley sign, normally it's a straight downhill, very, very high-speed section. Actually, you see a lot of passes made on the first lap there. Now they cut that into half, have a lot more turns, a double section in the middle. So I think that's going to slow things down a lot here and should make racing a lot more interesting.
Preseason, you behind the camera, who I won't name, I interviewed a ton of riders about the track, and every one of them said, it's all about sending it downhill, and they didn't want to say the word scary, but they used every other word they could, so I think slowing that section down is going to make riders happy. So that's a big change. We'll see if it leads to more passing or whatnot. So a lot on the line here, a lot of change. Who knows what's going to happen, man? That's what we like.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. So far, we've had a really, really good season. I mean, I can only see so much from my end. I'm sure it's the same for you, but it's been really good. I always feel like we have really good racing here as well. I mean, we're at elevation. Those bikes are a little slower, kind of slows things down, so should make things really, really interesting.
They never want to say that when their bikes are slower, the racing is better, but we have proof every year on video, and we'll have more tomorrow because we expect it to be good. All right, that is a Toyota Thunder Valley National here in Colorado. Tommy Tenders takes. Good job. We'll see you tomorrow.